Despite having arguably a top 5 defense last season, the New York Jets overcame the worst safety play in the entirety of the NFL. So let's take a look at the All-22 and I'll show you why I'm excited about the defense's room for growth in 2023. Let's go. What is going on, everybody? It's Luke here from PLAJ, and we are back in the film room with another All-22 breakdown, and today we're looking at LaMarcus Joyner and Jordan Whitehead and their play in 2022. I'm going to give you the early tip. It was ugly. This is more of a negative review than a lot of my past ones have been, but think of it in a positive light. The Jets cannot be this bad at safety, and you know the addition of Chuck Clark is going to help this group moving forward. We're going to start looking at LaMarcus Joyner in coverage, and it started in week 1 against the Baltimore Ravens. Here he's on the left side hash for the Jets against a 2x2 look. There is literally only one deep threat here from the Ravens on the right-hand side of their formation, and somehow, in what should be a middle field close look, LaMarcus Joyner lets him split him right down the middle, right down the hashes for a 60-yard touchdown. That is just inexplicably poor. So what does he do wrong here? Have a look at the depth that Joyner gets, but also the landmark he ends up on. He ends up on the same path as Sauce Gardner to his outside. He gets completely lost, ends up in the wrong position, and just allows the guy to waltz right down the middle for this long bomb. This is so poor, and I wish I could bail him out and say, but this is a one-off. You didn't see this often from LaMarcus Joyner. You're going to see through this video, this was prevalent on the tape. What a terrible rep from LaMarcus Joyner against the Ravens. Let's fast forward now. We're moving on to week 13 against the Vikings. We're going to see such a similar thing. Again, he's just outside the left side hash for the Jets, this time in what looks like a too high shell for the Jets. Have a look how he gets turned inside out by the slot number 2 receiver, spun like a top, right down the inside, but to make it even worse, we're going to have a bad angle from Jordan Whitehead and a huge gain for the Minnesota Vikings. Let's start looking at Joyner. What's the mistake he makes? He opens his hips too early and they attack the leverage, beat him to his inside, cross his face on the deep double move, and right now he is absolutely cooked. Whitehead does initially a nice job to realize there's no deep threat in his zone. He's going to help to the inside. I love this from him. Good instincts, good awareness. You can see, eyes to the football. He's getting to the right spot, but he's late to get his head around because what's happened previously? Carl Lawson's done a good job for the Jets along their defensive line, poking his head through and putting pressure on Kirk Cousins. This ball is underthrown, but because Whitehead has lost his eyes and he's late to get his head around, look how wide and downfield he ends up. He misses the drop point of the football, and it's a huge gain for the Minnesota Vikings. But unfortunately for the Jets, it wasn't just LaMarcus Joyner who was busting coverages. You also had Jordan Whitehead who had his fair share as well. Here's one from week 1, again in that Baltimore Ravens game. The Ravens, I'll let it run at full speed, do a nice job with this sit route speedo combo, and they just expose Whitehead. He runs a terrible route to the football. What am I talking about? You can see Jordan Whitehead, left-hand side of the Jets defense. He is accounting for the speedo route from the outside of the Ravens formation. He reads it well. Good eyes, good identification of the route. We're going to jump it. But have a look at the route he takes to the football. He tries to undercut the throw, ends up 5 yards shallow in this terrible position, and it's a wide open touchdown for Lamar Jackson. As well as he does to identify the concept and the route and to find that speedo, he just undercuts it and ends up in a really poor position. Very bad route to the football. You cannot have that. Shift your eyes this time to LaMarcus Joyner. I'm going to give him his props. Right-hand side of the Jets formation. Does a nice job jumping on this sit route. He sees that CJ Mosley has to drive on the little shallow cross, so he does a great job collapsing on Mark Andrews and actually takes that throw away, but it's all for nothing because Whitehead is beaten convincingly. It would be remiss of me not to mention the missed tackles for the Jets safeties though. Both of them missed in excess of 15% of their attempted tackles in 2022, and this was a play that once again showed off both of their deficiencies. You're going to see Seattle running the ball, second snap of the game. Jordan Whitehead is the man we're focusing on. He's bumped down into the box, right-hand side. Have a look at the angle he takes, but also the lack of effort and the ability to want to get his nose dirty and make this tackle. Are you kidding me? You have to lay the wood here. You have to make an effort. This is like watching flag football. He's trying to rip a tag off Kenneth Walker. But to make it even worse, now have a look at number 29. You got the deep safety LaMarcus Joyner. Have a look at the route he takes. Like, I'm sorry, this is just absolutely brutal. Yes, in the end, he just makes the tackle from behind, but he gives up an extra 40 yards because of the angle he takes. First of all, you see Whitehead doesn't want to get dirty, but then Joyner just shuffles his feet, stays too square, and allows the guy to just gas him on the outside, and Walker's got far too much pace for that. A really disappointing snap from the Jets' defensive duo at the safety position, who were just an issue all season long with their tackling and also the way they attacked their routes to the ball carriers. Then from the exact same drive, have a look at this rep in man coverage this time from LaMarcus Joyner. It's one of the worst you're going to see. He's over Parkinson here, the tight end for Seattle, the number 3 receiver to the left-hand side of their formation. Have a look at this effort. I don't think I've seen a safety grab and hold this obviously and still lose a rep this embarrassingly. This is just absolutely terrible. We've got the hold on Cody Parkinson. We're in a trail technique. We are just grabbing this man. We've got both arms wrapped around him. He's already lost the route because he's slow off the line of scrimmage. He splits his feet and he stays square for too long. Now we're holding. We've got pass interference because the ball's in the air, but have a look how Joyner then still loses track at the top of the route. Parkinson turns him inside out and there is 5 yards of separation. He is the only man who can bring this football down, and Joyner can do nothing but watch the touchdown unfold. This is what the Jets were dealing with in man coverage. They couldn't bump a safety over a tight end because this happened time and time again. And to finish off the video, we're going to come full circle here. Look at the positioning of LaMarcus Joyner in coverage and the miscommunication and bust between he and Whitehead on this rep against the Vikings. From the slot, have a look at the number 2 receiver and how he just toasts LaMarcus Joyner to the inside. But once again, I'm going to sound like a broken record. Where is LaMarcus Joyner going? From the left side hash, he ends up, freeze it right here, 40 yards from the line of scrimmage where Kirk Cousins is trying to pass the football. What are we possibly taking away with this depth? Not only that, he gets far too wide in this shell. Whitehead gets concerned because DJ Reed also kind of blows this coverage. Bottom of your screen, he drives on the tight end, has no need to do that at all because CJ Mosley's sitting over the top of it. Not sure what DJ Reed's doing. That causes Whitehead to lose his eye discipline. He has to drive on the little over route, and now we've got a guy running straight down the seam once again for an enormous gain. It starts because of LaMarcus Joyner's positioning in zone coverage, but then it's not helped by the play of DJ Reed either. That causes a miscommunication, and you've got just the millionth bust, it feels like, for the Jets safety group. This was just terrible film. So guys, you are welcome. There is a look at the Jets safety play from 2022. I'm sorry I had to put you through that, but it's for a reason. This unit is going to improve in 2023 no matter what happens. Chuck Clark is a part of that, but also just regression to the mean. If that happens, the Jets defense has an opportunity to be the very best in the National Football League.